thank you to my one YouTube subscriber who missed me while I've been gone and silent. I've had some challenges, I'm through that now, and I am so loaded with stuff. I could do 3 or 4 videos a day. I won't, but I do hope you'll come back, bring your friends and people who might be interested in the debate. But I have been watching the primaries and caucuses, and I tell you, I'm so happy that the American people, it appears, have awakened to the reality of the establishment, or it's also could be called the elite. It's the people and organizations that's all about the politics and the power and the wealth and maintaining it. Now I can sum up the establishment with the name of a city. That city is Washington, D.C. And it's not a Republican or Democrat thing. You see, they're both a part of the establishment. It's rather interesting to me, too, that in Washington, D.C., where the seat of our government is, that's also where the national headquarters are for the Democrats. Nice big building, and also just blocks away from the Democrat headquarters is, guess what? The Republican headquarters. And if you think they're at odds with each other, personally, you are crazy. Listen, they eat at the same restaurants. They are friends with each other. Their kids are friends and attend the same private schools together. They live in the same rich neighborhoods in the suburbs of D.C. So even though you think they're at odds, not so much. And there's a lot of issues. The reason those issues don't get solved is because the establishment wants to maintain the status quo. Because in numerous ways they keep their power and their wealth through those issues. A good example is illegal immigration. I could do a whole other video on that. But both the Democrat establishment and the Republicans benefit from illegals coming into this country. So neither one of them are going to be for throwing up a wall or trying to come up with some real reform in regards to this. So you'll never see it happen. That's why you haven't seen it happen up to this point. And then there's always the big issue of education. I've always loved that one. Every politician, is going to improve education. Yet in D.C., here's how the thing works. You have a Department of Education. I've actually been to the building. It's a huge old building where over 5,000 people work. Now, do you think any of these are teaching kids somewhere? No, there's no kids in that building. There are no classrooms, no education going on there. At the same time, just down the road, is the world headquarters of the largest union in America. What's that union? The National Education Association, teachers. Again, there may be some ex-teachers in there, but if you think there's kids being educated through that place, you are nuttier than a Snickers bar. Ain't happening. And these people are friends with each other. And so believe me, that whole education thing is a ruse. Yeah, the politicians like some good optics, so they hope some good things will happen. But the ultimate goal is politics, power, and wealth. That's what they're about. And then organizations like Planned Parenthood, a very clear Democrat group. Democrats support them. They claim to be about the health care of women. Guess where their headquarters is? Washington, D.C. Why? Because they're so interested in women? No, because a vital interest to them is politics and power. It's not just Democrats. Hit the Republicans. You've heard of the NRA, National Rifle Association. Now, you would think that an association that is protecting hunters and guns and that whole thing, you might find their headquarters way up in the UP of Michigan or maybe Colorado Rockies. No. It's in Washington, D.C. At least they are on the Virginia side. They're about 20 miles out of downtown, but they're still there in the metro area. Because you see, yeah, they're concerned about gun manufacturing and the gun business and the safety of firearms, but ultimately they are about politics and power. Then you've got the lobbyists. Oh my goodness, could I go on about this? 15,000 registered lobbyists in Washington, D.C. In case you don't know this, they're not there to lobby for you or for me. They have their own special interests, and they're inviting to dinner, wining and dining all the politicians. It's a mess. And I promise you this, there's not any lobbyist that's not making hundreds of thousands of dollars and even millions. And it's so incestuous. Like, for instance, the Motion Picture Association. Movies. You would think that'd be headquartered in Hollywood, right? Oh, no. It's D.C. And who's the head of that association? Is it a former actor that you might know? Is it a former producer or director? Someone that would at least know about movies? No. Because, see, it's not really about movies. It's about power. It's about wealth. It's about politics. Chris Dodd is the head. In case you don't know that name, he's a former senator for years, and I was so grateful when he got voted out. And then he got picked up by the Motion Picture Association, and he's now the head guy. So he's making millions of dollars to make sure that every drop of legislation that comes through that even touches the motion picture industry benefits them. Probably hurts the rest of us, but hey, that's the way that it goes with establishment. Now I'm going to stop with this. Washington, D.C., you may have heard this recently because it's been talked about a lot. Washington, D.C. is the richest city in America. You know what else it is? The poorest. Yeah, it really is. Highest per capita poverty of any city in the country. And they distribute more food stamps than any city in America. And I tell you, I want to say, especially to Hillary and Bernie, to all the establishment, listen, do not point your finger at me and promise higher taxes and more regulation to take care of income inequality and take care of the poor. That is BS, my friends. If you really are serious about it, fix it in your own backyard first. D.C. is a great place to start. And you know what they have done there? If you've been there, you'll see this. They've done the greatest job of segregating the rich from the poor of any city in America. The two very seldom meet. Establishment, the elite, those all about money and power. I am so glad that it appears others have finally figured this thing out. Now we have to stop it, and that's why we vote. I'm not saying vote for Donald Trump, but I am saying that you keep communicating with whoever you vote for, and you let them know if they become part of this establishment, if they don't go in there to break it down, you will vote against them the very next election. That's the approach we have to take. So pardon me for going over here. It's been a while. Good to have you back.